It's time for Down on the Corner with Dale Hoffman, North Arkansas's premier news talk program. Brought to you by Brewed Awakening Coffee, with 3 locations to serve you. Baxter Regional Medical Center lobby, Highway 62 412 at Balmer Boulevard, and the Walmart East Plaza. And now, Down on the Corner.
Good morning, North Central Arkansas and Southern Missouri. It is Tuesday, May 15th, 2018. It is 7 a.m. We have cloudy and rainy conditions throughout the area. We'll get to the weather here, brought to you by Greg Farm Services here in just a few minutes. But we want to welcome everybody to Down on the Corner program.
Halfway through May.
We are, aren't we?
15.
Yeah, wow.
It's going quick.
Another month from now, we'd be halfway through June, which is halfway through the year. And to me, it's still the new year, you know, I mean, anyway.
But it's summer.
No, it's not. It's spring.
No, I call that summer.
The temperature says
You were
summer.
sweating as much as I was yesterday.
Let me
That's
tell you.
Summer.
Let me tell you. It was warm in that garage last night. Finished up a piece of old electronic equipment. Finally got it cleaned up and tuned up. Why don't I go ahead and just hit this mic 3 times and get it done for the day? There, we're done.
No, you're not. I don't know why you did that. You're still going to hit it.
3 more times. I was with the coffee cup. Anyway, yeah, it was warm and muggy, let me tell you. Well, welcome to Down on the Corner program. Dale Hoffman along with Scooter Callis and Jerry Hogan. We're enjoying Brewed Awakening Coffee. Hope you're doing the same thing. 3 locations to serve you. Balmer Boulevard, BRMC Lobby, and 62 East Plaza out by Anytime Fitness. I need to go get another big bag of coffee from mine.
Call up Juan.
Yeah,
Juan and his mule.
Bring the mule. How's your mule doing? Your mule's no sweating?
She's okay.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Well, I know the wintertime we had a little fit with that mule.
You're about to, too, with that thunder I heard last night.
Well, I tell you what, that surprised me. Anyway.
You don't like the thunder, huh?
Oh, no.
My dog don't either. Anyway, check out Brewed Awakening Coffee. 3 locations to serve you. Stop down at the TV station here. We're at 1226 Commerce Drive in Mountain Home. Walk on in the studio. Just stay behind the cameras and get some coffee and enjoy the show. Right?
Get in front of the cameras. I don't.
Well, come on, y'all.
We'll put you on.
We'll put you on.
Sit right here if you
Sit
like.
Right here you go.
Oh, what?
And Roller Funeral Homes of Arkansas bring the morning prayer each and every day. Roller Funeral Homes across the state of Arkansas, with all our respect. When the need arises, Roller Funeral Homes, with all their respect. And so let's pause now for our morning prayer. Heavenly Father, what a great day in history yesterday as the United States Embassy opened in the city of Jerusalem. Many, many years promised, it has now been accomplished. Lord, this is an example to the rest of the world that America now has a president with a backbone and will do what it takes for peace in this world. Lord, your people, the Jewish people, let us always stand with Israel, support and defend your people. Lord, I pray you give us peace, and that's my prayer today. Amen.
Amen.
Roller Funeral Homes of Arkansas bring the morning prayer each and every day. Roller Funeral Homes, with all our respect. Weather-wise, we got cloudy conditions right now. Greg Farm Services brings you the morning weather each and every day. Greg Farm Services on the farm, around the home, and in the community. Greg's Farm Services in Mountain Home and Midway. And let's see what we have special today. The big red, white, and blue sale is going on now through Memorial Day weekend. Find anything in the store that's red, white, and blue, and you get 25% off. And if the packaging or product is predominantly red, white, and blue, we'll mark it down at the register as long as you mention this ad. So there you go. You got the ad right there in your screen, so take advantage of that. Greg's Wildlife Expo is coming up on August 11th at the Baxter County Fairgrounds from 9 to 3. And there's vendor registration is open. You see it right here on the registration page. And the attractions currently scheduled are listed right there, so feel free to log in and log on to that, or scroll down, I should say, into that. And there's my garden cart for $79.99. I still have to go pick that up once I take $80 plus tax down there. The Husqvarna 10, 20, 30 sale continues right there. And
I wonder if you could take a can of spray paint and paint it red and get an additional.
I think they'd catch you on that one, Jerry. Yeah, I think
that's a good idea, though.
Paint it red, white, and blue.
You gonna get us in trouble. I think somebody walking in with 3 cans of paint.
Just
anyway,
paint the whole store.
This is a good promotion right here. Free chainsaw with the purchase of any lawn tractor, 0 turn in stock. You get a Stihl MS-170. That's the model I purchased. It's a good little chainsaw. It's just perfect for, I'm not in heavy woods. I've got a lot of underbrush that I have to cut, and most generally it's
just limbs and
stuff like that.
Trunks.
It's a perfect little chainsaw for that. So there's a great deal right there. Greg's Farm Services brings you morning weather each and every day. Currently, we got 65 degrees in Mountain Home. Harrison with a rain shower at 62, 69 in Hardy, 64 at Mountain View, Arkansas, along the White River down there, 66 at Yellville, Marshall at 64. Another city on the White River is Calico Rock. It's at 65 degrees. Around the region, St. Louis at 69, Poplar Bluff, Missouri at 67, Branson at 63, West Plains 65, and a heat wave in Watford City, North Dakota at 41 degrees this morning.
You know, I think you're going to put Watford City, North Dakota on the map. People
We are
going
on
on
it.
vacation up
People
there
are going to
just
want to know. We got to go up and see what Dale's talking about.
What
You
is
see,
this?
you see how flat that floor is? It's flatter in Watford City. And that's about it, you know. The National Radar Map shows shower activity all across the Midwest and the Northeast part. Let's start in Florida. You got shower activity in Florida. You come on up into New York and Pennsylvania, a couple active systems right there. You're moving west towards Indiana, Ohio, Lake Michigan, over in just south of Chicago, over into Iowa. Then you see the rain pattern that's coming through our area right now. Starts off, I'm going to hit the central part of Missouri right here, Scooter. You see it around Rolla to Jeff City, Missouri on Highway 63. Nothing in the St. Louis area. As we move it a little bit farther south, no, let's not go with that right now. We will hit this stop right here. Lebanon, Rolla, just north of West Plains, shower activity. Then you see what's coming in to the Mountain Home area. Let me hit the Little Rock stop. Probably get a little bit more right there. Better than Fort Smith. There you go. Fort Smith, Fayetteville getting the bulk of the rain right now, and that's basically it for a while, it looks like. Can I put that in motion?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what we got here. There we go. Looks like we're going to get a little bit of shower activity come through Mountain Home in a little while, but overall that's about it. But this pattern we have with this high humidity and dew point is pretty prevalent for the rest of the week.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see what we got in Oklahoma. See if there's anything in the back of this. Yeah, there we go. Now you see the whole picture from Mountain Home all the way back to McAllister, Oklahoma. And some of this goes over into northern Texas as well. So a little bit of rain that we can use whenever it gets this warm and hot. You can always use a little rain shower in the afternoon. And even if it's just a
I think they're
dribble.
calling for rain almost all this week, aren't they?
Yeah, I think so. We'll hit that. We'll take a look at that forecast real quick. What on earth we got the 2 dots right there for? Huh. Something red in Ozark County. We'll have to check that here in a minute. There we go. Don't you love computers? For today, a high of 84 with a 40 and 50% chance of showers. Tomorrow, 30 to 20% chance of showers, high of 83. Thursday, high of 86. Chance of showers continues. Then Friday, we have a 20% chance of showers at high of 88. Saturday, high of 92 and mostly sunny. So sweat, sweat, sweat.
Gonna be time to mow with all that rain.
Yep. Yep. I'm getting close. And I just put out, how many bags of fertilizer did I just put?
Yeah, Dale sees rain in the forecast. He'll go buy a 50-pound bag of fertilizer every time. Dump it out.
I put out 3 bags. It says this bag covers 5,000 square feet, and I put 3. Well, actually, I had 1 bag left over, so I actually put out 4 bags that big.
I think you're going to actually get Bermuda grass to grow up the tree.
I need to check this out in southern Missouri. I got 2 little red dots here we need to check out here. Flash flood warning. Let me pull this up here for these counties so folks know. National Weather Service, Springfield, Missouri, has issued a flash flood warning for Ozark County in southwestern Missouri, central Douglas County in southwestern Missouri. At 4:51 a.m., Doppler radar automated rain gauges indicated thunderstorms producing heavy rains across warned areas. Up to 3 inches of rain has already fallen. Ooh, I didn't know they had that much rain across state line. So this affects Gainesville, Pontiac, Sundown, Mobile, Noble, Brushy Knob, Hardinville, Van Zant, Rockbridge, Isabella, Zanoni, Theodosia, Wasola, Brixie, Willholt, Gentryville, Thornfield, Squires, Long, Drury. Well, that's it, right? You take one up Springfield, so be careful up there. Wow, I didn't know that. Jerry, what you got on the community calendar?
All right, man. May 17th, the 2018 Tour of Studios. It begins at 10 a.m. It's a self-guided tour of artists' studios around the area. Be highlighting our local artisans. May 18th, the Chamber Golf Tournament. It's very important if you can get out. How's the weather on Friday? Did
20%.
it have rain too?
Yeah, it was 20% chance.
It wasn't much of a chance, like 20% or something.
Well, keep your fingers crossed, because our chamber is awesome up here, and you know this helps them a lot. It's the 18th annual golf tournament. Begin at 8 a.m. with the shotgun start. Entry fee is $230 a team, and your entry includes lunch, beverages, golf cart, and 1 mulligan per game. Prizes at the end of the day. Also, May 18th at the Christ Community Church in Mountain Home from 7:30 a.m. 3:30 p.m. is Alzheimer's Arkansas. It's free for family and friend caregivers. They'll offer free financial support available for respite care, free breakfast and lunch provided. And for more information, call 501-224-0021. Then we have on Tuesday, May 22nd, 6:30 p.m., Dunbar Auditorium. This is My Father's World with the Sky Meadow Youth Orchestra.
They've played, not this year, but a couple years past at the Marion County Republican dinner. Fine group.
And
Yeah, I think they're scheduled to come in.
it's getting close.
They're here on Thursday.
Thursday,
Yeah.
so
Thought it
tune
was
in.
this week.
Yeah, it's just
Tune
Thursday.
in
It's gonna be a good
Thursday
group.
and
Yeah.
check them out.
Yeah.
Then we have the Racing for a Cure with Mark Martin. It's benefiting St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, and this is on Thursday, May 31st. You can get out there,
Good. 2
meet
weeks from
Mark
Thursday.
Martin, and get an autograph. And
Big time NASCAR.
yeah, that's going to be
Yeah.
a big deal there. St. Jude's is awesome, man.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
They do their call-ins and all that, and they do a lot of good things.
All right, Scooter.
I got about 15 more, but
Oh,
we'll
15
go
more.
ahead and take a break.
Scooter, what's at the oh, I went down and had the special yesterday. Oh, for lunch.
Chicken fried steak.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love the special.
Yeah, chicken fried steak's always a big hit. Today we've got meatloaf day though.
Yep.
That's you can't.
Yep.
Kimmy's famous meatloaf comes
Yep.
with 2 sides, roll of cornbread for $6.88. Don't want to miss it.
There you go.
Oh, I want to include also Scooter and I were out hot off the presses, man. We got our football packages out for sponsorship. So
Yep.
Yep. There you
we
go.
were out hitting the town yesterday. Can't believe we're selling football already, man.
I know. It's,
That's
You
awesome.
got to plan ahead.
You bet.
but you know, you got limited spots. Get them
Yeah,
done.
that's
Get
right.
the graphics done. Get it ready. Be ahead of the ball game. We're good to go this year.
I'm excited to do some filming this year. That's
Oh,
a
yeah?
good looking schedule, man.
You're gonna have to speed up just a little bit
On what?
on the filming. If you're gonna be all right, because if you film like you drive, then this
The
is
game will be over. I'll still be
on
following the ball.
The first play.
Yeah, that's why we have replay, man. I love
All right,
replay.
coming up, we've got candidate for Supreme Court. My good friend David Sterling going to be here on the set here in just a minute. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to introduce you to David Sterling, my choice for Supreme Court. So we'll be right back.
Have you ever noticed every time you wash your car, you end up wetter than the actual car? Next time, run down to Car Care and let the friendly staff put a smile on your face. Car Care of Mountain Home has a variety of services to clean your vehicle's needs, inside and out. From a simple wash and shine to their outstanding detail services. Located 1525 Highway 62 East in Mountain Home. Stop by Car Care in Mountain Home today, because driving a clean car always makes you feel good.
You already know that Ferris mowers are the only mowers on the market with a patented spring suspension system, saving you time in the seat, less back stress, and a professional even cut every time. You already know that Mower Warehouse is the only area dealership that will accept your mower trade-in. But did you know that a truckload of discounted 2017 models just arrived at Mower Warehouse, allowing you the pleasure of saving hundreds of dollars on your next mower purchase of a new Ferris or Simplicity zero-turn machine? Come check out the parking lot sale at Mower Warehouse, located on Buzzard Roost in Mountain Home.
Do you know where your money goes when you give to charity? At the Salvation Army, 85 cents of every dollar stays to help those in need in our local community. Hi, I'm Captain Spaulding. The money we raise help people in the surrounding 5 counties, including Baxter, Marion, Sharp, Izzard, and Fulton. You can help by donating your unwanted items and by shopping at the Salvation Army store. Those in need get assistance with rent, utilities, sending kids to camp, and many other things. When it comes to this charity, the Salvation Army always helps those in our community.
You've tried medications just cover up the pain, and you've tried dieting to help lose weight. Before you try something drastic like surgery to get rid of the numbness and tingling, why don't you try a better approach to health? Hi, I'm Dr. Charles Osgood, and at Mountain Home Family Chiropractic, we heal the whole person the natural way.
At Mountain Home Family Chiropractic, we take a hands-on approach to chiropractic care, massage therapy, and nutritional counseling. Our 20 years of service has led to successful results.
When I come in to see Dr. Osgood, sometimes after one adjustment, I have immediate relief. Sometimes it takes 4 or 5 adjustments.
I recommend Mountain Home Family Chiropractic because it really works and keeps me pain-free.
Mountain Home Family Chiropractic supports the community by donating to Mountain Home Food Basket and the Lions Club. Request an appointment with us today at Mountain Home Family Chiropractic. Excellence for your body and frame alignment. Diatley Dental Care is a family-owned dental practice. Doctors Irvin and Christina Diatley grew up in the Twin Lakes area and are proud to serve the community. With modern treatment methods and state-of-the-art technology, they are dedicated to providing exemplary care to patients of all ages. Our compassionate team consistently receives training above and beyond the standard of care.
We're changing the way you see dentistry.
Come be a part of our dental family.
If you want the best breakfast or lunch in the Twin Lakes area, then you've got to come to the Old Time Restaurant. Voted the best breakfast and lunch for 2011, the Old Time Restaurant not only gives you the Southern hospitality right when you walk in the door, they also offer scrumptious breakfast options to curb that early morning appetite. Or stop in later in the day for a tasty sandwich, salad, or a daily special. If a sweet tooth is your guilty pleasure, you can't go wrong with the Pie Lady cooking out over 30 different types of pies. That's the Old Time Restaurant located on the square in Mountain Home.
Jim Brown Company keeps you cool when it's hot and warm when it's not. A trusted name in the Mountain Home community, Jim Brown Company provides timely heating and cooling installation and repairs. Our certified technicians incorporate new technology on every job to provide you with the most advanced services. At our metal fabrication shop, we handle projects big and small. We've created everything from commercial ducts to custom designs.
I'd recommend Jim Brown Company to my friends and neighbors. The reason being they have high-tech equipment, their service techs are well qualified for the job that they do, and they also send me a report after all the work is done so I know exactly what my unit's doing.
By visiting our showroom, you can learn all about our heating and cooling products. We'll educate you on your options and help you decide on the right solution. For total comfort at your home or business, choose Jim Brown Company. Quality service with a family name since 1964.
$7:18 on this Tuesday. I want to introduce you to David Sterling, a good friend running for Supreme Court, along with Bob Zadora. And David is my choice for Supreme Court. When you see this mailer, you want to throw that up there. It says David Sterling, Supreme Court. This is the guy you want on Supreme Court, right here.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Right here. If you want to keep our court more conservative than what it is, David Sterling is your choice for Supreme Court. So welcome to Mountain Home in Baxter County. Of course, Bob Zadora is Marion County, and welcome you to his county as well. And how you been? Good to see you again.
Good to see you guys too. Yeah, it has been a while, but I've really been enjoying myself getting back out on the campaign trail and meeting everybody again. And it's been real refreshing. You know, a lot of good folks out on the campaign trail. So
you really get to learn a lot about yourself on the campaign trail. I think some candidates say, you know, I learned more about myself than I did some of the other people that I met. But have you ever seen a state with so much diversity? We've got tourism and retirement here. You've got the pine timber in southeast, east, central, northeast. You've got a lot of crops, and you've got cattle, turkey, and chicken farms. Bruce Emerson's probably watching in right now. He's got a turkey farm over at Payette area in Marion Boone County. We've got it all.
We really do. I figured that out 4 years ago when I was running for Attorney General, and it was a statewide race back then. And as I got out on the campaign trail, I mean, I realized just how diverse the landscape was. And I tell people, when I have people come in from out of state and they contact me and tell me they're going to be in Little Rock around Arkansas. I'll sit them down at lunch or something, and I'll draw a geographic map topographical map of Arkansas, and it's really interesting. You know, up in the northwest, you have all the north and west, you have all the mountains, and then down in the south and the east, you have the Delta, and then I guess the offshoots of each one of those, and two different kinds of mountain ranges and everything that we've got with the Ouachita Mountains and the Ozark Mountains, and
then you got the Boston over there.
Oh, the Boston Mountains,
on 49,
of course.
yeah.
I mean, and it's absolutely just breathtaking.
It is.
Sometimes, any time of year. I mean, if you're going in the spring, it's all green when you're traveling that highway there. When it's the fall, it's all the different colors. When it's the winter, it's just beautiful. I mean, no leaves on the trees, but it's just beautiful.
And you saw a great change this past driving by picking up as many miles as you have over the past several months of driving, and seeing that change from winter into summer, and seeing the green and the growth that comes up.
It's absolutely amazing.
What have you learned? What has David Sterling learned inside himself this round of campaign?
Gosh,
the stamina, or
it does take stamina. It's kind of funny. I was talking to my wife about a week ago, and I said, "Honey, it feels like I'm working 2 full-time jobs." And she said, "Exactly what she said." She said, "You are." And I got thinking about it. I'm still working as full-time as chief counsel of DHS, our state's largest agency. I mean, we've got 7,500 employees, an $8.2 billion budget. And I personally supervise 75 attorneys and a staff of 172 people all over the state. And I'm still doing that full time. And
that takes a little bit more than 40 hours a week to do that.
It takes you're right. And but I got to doing the math and everything. And when I get off work every day, that's when I start working on the campaign.
Yeah.
And I usually get to bed around 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and go to bed, wake up at 6 o'clock, and keep going again. So for the last 4 months, it's been, running on about 3 to 4 hours sleep a night. And, I kind of did this in college, and it's been a little bit of a throwback, but it's not that much of a strain because I've got such a passion for this and everything. The adrenaline just kind of keeps me going. And, but I'm literally working, over 80 hours a week right now between work and campaigning right now. But I'm doing whatever it takes to kind of let this message out.
And obviously you're on a mission.
Right.
You're on a mission to get elected as Supreme Court. And when you get there, what kind of, I know we can't talk about issues and, well, what are you going to vote on this or what are you going to vote on that? We understand it. But what's your philosophy? Is a judge on the Supreme Court, what is going to be Judge Sterling's philosophy?
Well, what I'm trying to do is be a voice of what I call judicial conservatism, which is a little bit different from political conservatism. Because, like I say, we're supposed to avoid party affiliation in these judicial races. And the main reason for that is simply because we want voters to understand that when we talk about issues out on the campaign trail and we say, well, this is my stance on this political issue or this is my stance on that political issue, well, all of a sudden that makes you, puts you in a position to where you're not unbiased whenever that issue, where that issue comes before the court. And so a lot of those issues are kind of partisan issues, so we try to avoid that. But what I do, I will say that the disadvantage of that is that the voters don't really know what they're getting.
Right.
And so when judges and judicial candidates go around and they're asked these questions, and voters are asking the questions because they just want to know, who am I voting for? Who am I voting to put on the bench?
And sometimes, David, it's what am I voting for?
Right.
What's in this package?
So what I've been trying to do is just kind of give them a glimpse of at least my judicial philosophy, not necessarily my political philosophy, but my judicial philosophy, which is one of, like I say, judicial conservatism, which to me is constitutionalism. Keeping the Constitution at the center of all my decisions, because ultimately that's what we need to follow here in the state. When issues come before us, we need to have a focus on the Constitution. And I'm an originalist. I'm a textualist when it comes to interpreting the Constitution and statutes. And more than anything else, I believe in separation of powers and what that means, And actually, it's kind of funny. My daughter, who's in the 9th grade right now, totally gets all this from a nonpartisan issue. I've told her that my campaign is centered on 7th grade civics, which is separation of powers.
Perfect. There you go.
It really is. It's a matter of, understanding that the legislative branch is the one that passes laws. The executive branch enforces those laws, and the judicial branch interprets those laws and applies the law to the facts and circumstances of each case. And I don't think that the bench is is where I don't think that judges should be legislating from the bench. I think that they should preserve that to the people and the people they elect to the General Assembly. And when I tell that to 7th graders or 8th graders or 9th graders or 10th graders, all of them are like, what's so controversial about that?
Yeah.
But when we get out here and we all of a sudden you see judges on a routine basis substituting their will for the will of the people through their legislation, if they disagree with the law and they find some way to rule in a way that conforms with their worldview, I think that that's wrong. You should always keep the Constitution and the legislation, the laws that the legislature passed, as the center of your focus when you're interpreting laws.
And one thing comes to mind right there. A couple years ago, we had this lawsuit concerning the nativity scene on our courthouse lawn.
See, here he goes getting into political issues.
Here we go.
We're not going to get into political
And so
issues.
here's the judge says,
you're going to get a nod from me on
that. He says, the judge made a ruling based on his opinion, based on something that wasn't law. So he made a judgment on his opinion based on something that wasn't law, but yet we have to abide by that. And that, I think,
Yes,
he was
you do.
legislating from the bench.
So anyway, Dave.
Thank you.
Back on the farm.
So this is, I mean, you've been doing this for a few months now, and the toll that it takes. We talk about how many miles you've driven and the amount of country that you've seen. What about your family? I mean, this has got to be a kind of a tough thing for them because they're running too, whether they want to or not.
They are, and they're pretty much all in on this stuff too. I mean, we sat down as a family as we were making a decision on this, and I just made sure that the family was okay with this. They've been through it once. Last time we went through this, my daughter was 11 years old, and she missed her daddy out on the campaign trail for almost an entire year.
Yeah.
While I was out there working it really hard and everything, and we've talked about that over the years. And now she's 15, and she's probably glad to be rid of me, 15 years old, to tell you the truth.
When's he coming back?
Yeah. But my wife and I, my daughter, we prayed about this for several months before we decided to do this. And my wife has just been amazing. I mean, she works full time in the Little Rock School District as a speech pathologist and working with special needs kids. And she, puts in long hours at work as well as outside of work with all the reports she has to do, all the paperwork she has to do, and it's a very difficult job that she has, and she's very committed to it. But then in addition to that, she's actually been very supportive. I mean, she's been going. We've got a short 3-month campaign here.
Yeah.
The last time I ran for Attorney General, and it took, I was out on the campaign trail from January 2013 until June of 2014, so 18 months out there. And so I could spread out these meetings and so forth and just schedule them, 6, 8 months out, make sure I could cover this meeting or that meeting, this event, that event. This time, this whole thing started in February. So we had February, March, and April, and then we'd vote in May.
Yep.
And so we've been having to kind of fan out. And so when I'm in one place, she's covering an event in another place, and she's been so supportive. And of course, my daughter's old enough that she doesn't require a babysitter all the time right now, especially if the places are kind of close by. But my wife has just been pretty amazing and very supportive.
Like you said, the campaign goes till May. This is May. So we've got really another week from today. Right?
1 week,
is the general election, and that's the election for the judges.
Yeah.
All the judges that are on the ballot, Johnny Copeland.
Yeah, and you won't see it in November.
It's not in November. Their election is right now. So if you're voting early, make sure you work your way down the ballot, and make sure that you work your way down to the judges. These are people that are going to affect your lives more than the JPs and everything else do. I mean, in the grand scheme of things.
Yep.
Judges oversee a lot more. JPs may make decisions, but if they get sued, they end up in front of the courts. And we want to make sure we have good conservatives on the court making good decisions for all of us. And I think that's a fair statement to say.
It is a fair statement to say, and it's kind of unusual because a lot of people, just statistically speaking, most people skip the primary in May and say, well, I'll just, once the parties figure out who their candidates are, I'll go vote in November. But if you do that, you're going to miss out on voting for any nonpartisan races such as prosecutor or any of your judges. I mean, whether it's a municipal court judge all the way to the Supreme Court, all your judges are on the ballot in May, and that's their general election. The only way that you would get to vote for a judge if you skip the primary is if there's a runoff. If there's 3 people in the race and no one gets a majority, which is 50% plus one vote, then that's the only way that someone would actually get a chance to vote in November on that if you skip the primary. So it's very critical.
And if you don't vote in the primary, you can't complain about who the candidate is.
Sure.
Right. For all these positions, and there's both the judges in both counties are up, and there's contested races in both counties.
Yep. And keep in mind, you can ask for judicial ballot only.
Yes.
Yeah,
you don't have to have the Democrat, don't have to have the Republican. You can say, I want judicial only. And that election is between now and the 22nd. It's very important. I mean, this is why we invited David up, so people know this is your man right here for the Supreme Court. 7:30, we need to take a break. Be right back.
Why would I recommend Hospice of the Ozarks? Because I know the people that work there, I know their hearts, and I know that their desire is to help people with the suffering and the anxiety and the things that can come with either terminal diagnosis or a terminal condition. We want them to have a peace of heart and to have a comfort and to know that someone's there to help them through that so they can enjoy the time that they have.
Our old burger was only 7 ounces, but now it's 8 with brioche bun and pickles. Comes with its own steak knife, it's really that big. Your best competition is always yourself. Chili's is back, baby, back, baby, back. Oh, baby, Chili's is back, baby, back, baby, back. We're focused on one thing, burgers, ribs, fajitas. Just that one thing, burgers, ribs, and fajitas. We're reeling in our menu because it got out of hand. We had a moment of self-actualization. Chili's is back, baby, back, baby, back. Oh, baby, Chili's is back, baby, back, baby, back.
More than just propane, Reeves Propane provides you full-service propane delivery as well as tank and piping installation. We are your dependable choice, offering the very best in personal service with on-time deliveries and competitive prices. Reeves Propane also sells and installs tankless water heaters and appliances and can even convert your gas cook stove to liquid propane. So no need to fuss and cuss about bad service. Call us at Reeves Propane. We greatly appreciate your business, and God bless.
So there I was, naked as a jaybird in the shower with soap in my hair and eyes when I lost water pressure down to a dribble. I immediately grabbed my towel and dialed up Jake at JM Sales and Pump Service. Jake came right over and fixed my water pressure. Now I can take my showers with confidence. Just call Jake.
For all your sales and pump needs, just call Jake at JM Sales and Pump Service, 870-431-5445. He offers high-quality stay-right products.
(7:32). We're visiting with David Sterling, candidate for Arkansas Supreme Court. And I can't emphasize enough, Bob, the importance of this race right now. We've got good conservatives now in the court, but we need one more. We've got Chief Justice Dan Kemp Rondewood along with Sean Womack, the Honorable Sean Womack. Excuse me, didn't mean to be disrespectful. Add David Sterling to that mix, we have a good, solid conservative court.
We do. And it's important for the state to continue on the path that we've taken. Arkansas being probably the most conservative of the conservative states, among the most conservative. I know we're like the reddest of the red states for the Republican Party. But that's the general philosophy of the state here. We want things to be done correctly.
And I like what David has in his campaign mailouts. And believe me, we've got the mailouts. My platform is the Constitution.
Right.
Cut and dry.
And you were talking about the civic classes, which is something that you don't see everywhere all the time. And that if we saw more of that within the schools, the country would be a much better place. When I came through school, going back to the Stone Age, you took civics in 7th and 8th grade before you graduated.
Mm-hmm.
And you learned how the government works, and a lot of people just don't realize the importance of these different things. They think like the president can do anything, and these other guys in Washington, they don't know what they're doing. There's a lot of times, senator, congressman, they don't. The president's the only one who counts, or the governor's the only one who counts. There's a balance of power, and the importance of justices within that balance just cannot be overstated.
I agree with that, and I will tell you that my 7th grade civics teacher was Ms. Beeson down in Texarkana. Arkansas. I grew up on the right side of the state line, the Arkansas side. If you look at a map, right side of the state line. But she would be very proud of this campaign, I think. I don't know if she was, I don't know what her political philosophy is or anything like that, but like I say, it's just 7th grade civics is all it is as far as, you know, the governing documents of our country and of our state, and separation of powers, understanding there's 3 separate but equal branches of government with checks and balances in each branch. And like I say, it's just a non-controversial campaign for anybody that understands civics. And I don't know why it becomes controversial otherwise. I mean, I guess we've just kind of gotten used to using the courts as a way of going around the legislature and so forth. And people ask me all the time about, you know, what about this, what about that, as far as changes in our society and how those were addressed. And I said, well, you know, you've got amendments to the Constitution that have addressed all those things, you know, because when I talk about being an originalist, you're like, well, this is a completely different country than what it was 200 years ago. And I say, yeah,
it is.
And I started explaining to them that look at all the amendments to the Constitution over the years, and all those things that you're talking about now have been addressed through amendments to the Constitution, which is what the Founding Fathers intended. They didn't intend for everyone to go running to the courts in order to try to you know, pass new laws and so forth. There is a method to doing this through the legislative process and through the constitutional amendment process.
And that's the job of the judiciary, is to look at those and say, this is where this was going when they passed that.
Again, 7th grade civics.
Yeah, yeah.
It really is.
So you were saying how you were talking about your family and the toll that it takes on them, and you meeting people throughout the country and the miles that you put on.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there's a lot of self-reflecting and a lot of phone calls that go on in that truck as you're getting from place to place.
There is definitely a lot of that. You know, sometimes I take someone with me and they'll drive while I use the telephone and make phone calls and so forth. But this time around, it's been such a mad scramble that I've been driving myself to a lot of these places, and I try not to use the telephone while I'm driving and so forth. So you're right, lots of self-reflection, and it's kind of good having that quiet time to be there with your thoughts and just kind of have a little bit of peace about yourself and have prayer time more than anything else. I mean, that's the thing that I've really tried to do more than anything else during that peace and quiet out on the road, trying to get to the next stop. It's maybe an hour and a half away, in this case 3 hours last night when I was driving in, but gives you a lot of time to talk to the Lord and kind of make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, making sure that this is part of His plan and so forth. And so it's good in that sense.
Yeah.
Lots of time to self-reflect and pray.
Can I get permission to put the family picture on?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Fine family here. David Sterling, his wife and daughter.
I will say that my daughter, that was when
a little bit older, yeah.
Yeah, that was when she was 11.
3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some more updated pictures on my current website. I'm not sure where that one's from. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. If you'll go up a little bit, you'll see some more. Yeah, it's not there. It's on my campaign site, apparently. You should show that beautiful picture of my bride in her wedding. There you go.
There you go. There you go. Wedding picture.
That was 26 years ago.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Wow. Good for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
26 years ago. There may be another picture of us on our honeymoon. My daughter, when she was a little bit younger, she was going through the house and she saw that. There it is, right there.
This one?
Yeah. She saw that picture and she pointed
You're just
and laughed.
a little bit younger there, David.
Yeah.
Is that your prom?
My daughter she was about 5 or 6 years old, and she was wandering through our bedroom, and she saw that up on the dresser, and she pointed and started laughing. And I said, "What's so funny?" And she said, "You used to have hair."
From the mouths of babes,
there
right?
It is.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I want to go back. Your current position, and go down that list one more time. You're in charge of how many people?
Well, so 3 years ago, Governor Hutchinson appointed me to be chief counsel of the Department of Human Services, and it's literally the state's largest agency, and it's actually the largest legal department in the state. In state government, we've got a few more attorneys and a few more staff members than what the Attorney General's office does at DHS. But there's 75 attorneys that I supervise and a staff of 172 people. And 50 of those attorneys are committed to child welfare and adult protective services. I mean, that's what they do full-time, a little over 50 actually out of the 75.
You're in charge of 75 attorneys or 76 opinion. There's yours.
That is true, but you know, it's kind of been an amazing experience over the last 3 years. It's, you know, a lot of the stuff I wasn't, I'd never done, you know, before, the areas of practice and so forth. I mean, the litigation in state and federal courts, been doing that my whole career, mostly in the field of business and commercial litigation, but representing, you know, individuals as well as businesses over the last 2 decades. But when I stepped into this role, you know, really, you know, it gives me a front row seat to seeing what all DHS does. I mean, really, truly taking care of the most vulnerable citizens in our state.
Yeah.
I mean, we take care of the children and adults, people with mental illness and disabilities, the elderly and the poor. And it's just been amazing kind of seeing all the people, the hard work that people put in trying to protect our most vulnerable citizens in our state. And it's been, you know, it's been an awesome experience. And I've really enjoyed it, and it's kind of given me a new perspective on things that, you know, I grew up, and I mean, I've got people in my family that experience these different conditions and so forth. I mean, I've got a younger brother who is developmentally delayed. I've got people in my family who have some disabilities, and I've got, you know, obviously everybody has members of their family that are elderly, members of their family that are poor. But to see kind of everything kind of under one roof, and seeing a staff of, you know, 7,500 people that are trying to take care of, literally, we probably provide services to 1 million people out of our 3 million person population here in the state directly. You know, indirectly we would probably touch the other, you know.
Well, they all get
2
touched
million.
one way or the other, sure.
Well, I mean, someone's related to somebody that's getting
Sure.
services from
Sure.
DHS.
So with your experience and what you're doing, that pretty well stands you pretty good stead on that Supreme Court. I think you've seen just about everything. I mean, think about it. If you were to write a book, would it be serious or funny? Over the last 26 years or however long you've been practicing law. How long you been?
I've been practicing now since I got licensed in 1997 was when I finished law school.
21 years, yeah.
Yeah, it's been but yeah, I think the story would be pretty serious. I mean, the things I've kind of dealt with over the years, but I'd have to sprinkle in some fun because that's just who I am.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
But Bob, don't you agree with this type of experience, so that, and this is not just Little Rock, this is all over the state with DHS. So with 75 other attorneys plus him, you know, like I say, you've got 76 opinions here.
Well, you're seeing. Well, the thing is that you're seeing such a wide array of the state.
Yeah.
You know, you're seeing from the hoi polloi to the, you know, down and out, in how the state government and how the constitution of the state government affects those people and what they need and the services that they need on your job now. But you see how it's going to affect them going forward. How when they pass a law down in Little Rock, how is that going to affect these people? And you have a little more insight as to what the effects of things may be.
Well, we definitely see that every day, and this particular job has kind of given me, like I said before, a front row seat to seeing how we help a lot of the most most vulnerable citizens in our state. But it's also given me a front row seat to the whole 3 branches of government. I mean, when the legislature is not in session, even when they are in session, they routinely pull members of the executive branch, including, you know, myself and other members at DHS, over into legislative hearings to kind of talk about different policies or different laws that are coming down from the federal government and how and as they're trying to address them and implement laws, pass laws that are going to implement those federal laws and so forth. But we spend a lot of time at DHS over at the state capitol talking in legislative committees, helping them through the process, helping them understand what we're doing, so that they can either continue doing what we're doing or maybe change the things that we're doing and try to help, you know, the vulnerable population and so forth. But we're working hand in glove with the legislative branch every day, and then we've got litigation in the judicial branch every day. I got a staff of several attorneys that handle all of our appeals, both at the circuit court level as well as all the way to the Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court. So
let me ask you a question. let's say that we have a law in the books, and a federal law will affect what we have in Arkansas. So you have to be able to stair-step this. So let's say if the federal law passes and it affects what we have on our books, but it's contradictory. So you have to work with the state legislature to work with the federal law to make the state law work with the federal law?
That's right. And
I mean, you kind of have to, it's kind of like a shoelace and a knot. Do you have to kind of undo it all and start over?
To some extent we do. I mean, a lot of what we do at DHS is through our state plan that has been approved by CMS, which is the Center for Medicaid and Medicare Services on the federal level. So everything we do has to be consistent with the law that, that CMS blesses everything that we do ultimately. And if they don't, then we can't do it.
You said what, CMS?
CMS.
What's that?
Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services.
Okay.
It's on the federal level. It's essentially all of DHS. Most of what we do is approved through CMS. We have to seek their approval if we want to make a change to our state plan, or if we want to do a state plan amendment, or if we want to do some type of waiver services. The waiver services, they give us some flexibility to kind of do things that are not in conflict with federal law. We do a number of optional programs and so forth through the waivers, but we can't just do it just because we want to. We have to actually promulgate those policies and present that to the legislature, and then once they approve it, then get CMS approval. And sometimes the chicken or the egg, do we get CMS approval before we bring it to the legislature? Yeah. Do we get legislative approval before we take it to CMS?
You got brick marks on your forehead from hitting against the wall? Wow.
It happens sometimes, for sure.
746, visiting with David Sterling, candidate for Supreme Court. I personally endorse him. You want a conservative court, add David to that list. We need to take a break. Be right back.
Hello, I'm Charles Ferguson. Here at Mountain View Chevrolet, we still do business the old-fashioned way with honesty and integrity. And we have a good inventory of new Chevy cars, trucks, and SUVs from large to small. Our service department has all GM certified technicians, and our friendly salespeople are ready and eager to fit a car truck to your needs in a price range you can afford. We also have a lot full of pre-owned cars and trucks, program and new car trade-ins to choose from. So come see us at Mountain View Chevrolet.
Alzheimer's Arkansas announces their 2018 Mountain Home Hope for the Future on Friday, May 18th, 2018 at Christ Community Church at 759 Highway 62 in Mountain Home, Arkansas from 7:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Free for family and friend caregivers, free financial support available for respite care, and free breakfast and lunch provided. For more information, you can call Alzheimer's Arkansas at 501-224-0021 or visit them at www.alzark.org/hope for the future.
Hi, I'm Ricky with Arch Trash Pickup. If anybody needs trash service in the area, please give us a call. Arch Trash Service is veteran owned, and I've been in the local area resident for over 20 years. I'll provide a better service than the other guys, and even provide front door service trash pickup for those that aren't able to take their trash to the curb. We'll also pick up almost anything and even provide free recycling. I am Ricky with Arch Trash Pickup, and please give me a call for all your trash service needs.
With a large showroom of over 13,000 square feet, the Furniture Depot is your local choice for quality name brand furniture at prices anyone can afford. They carry a great selection of catnapper recliners, power recliners with lumbar support, and lift chairs. Check out Furniture Depot's variety of living room and dining room sets in various styles and designs. And don't forget about their mattress gallery featuring Serta, Symbol mattresses, and adjustable beds. Family owned and operated, that's Furniture Depot, located in the Ozark Shopping Center in Mountain Home. $7:48 on this Tuesday, May 15th, visiting with David Sterling, my choice for Arkansas Supreme Court. And a reminder that the judicial races are determined on the 22nd of May. So you think, oh, well, I'm not going to vote in that primary. But you can get strictly the judicial ballot. It doesn't matter your party affiliation because judicial is nonpartisan. You go in, if you want to vote early, say I want just the judicial ballot, and it will give you that. Vote for David Sterling, Arkansas Supreme Court. More thoughts? What have we not covered?
Like you were talking about your philosophy, and I think that was a good way to describe where you are. The gentleman had asked where you were between Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Judge Scalia, for example, and where do you kind of place yourself in there?
Well, I think that that's a fair question. I mean, as far as what your party affiliation with, that's a little bit out of bounds with the judicial
Right.
rules. But as far as what your judicial philosophy is, I think that's completely within the bounds of the judicial rules, and it gives people kind of a clue as to what you're wanting to bring to the bench. And I'm wanting to bring a philosophy to the bench here in Arkansas that is kind of in line with Justice Scalia and his successor, Neil Gorsuch, which is, again, judicial conservatism. I mean, those guys are not, chiming in on political issues necessarily, but, you kind of know where their judicial bent is. I mean, they're focused on the Constitution. They're focused on the original intent of the Founding Fathers. They're to focus on textualism, looking at the actual text of the statutes and the laws and the Constitution. I mean, words actually have meaning, and you find a lot of courts, trying to interpret statutes, and they kind of get outside the wording of the statutes, and they actually start trying to figure out what the
What do you think they meant when they were sitting around scratching their heads, and the fact that and because of these activist judges, we have a number of things that we go through as a country. The people vote, and they vote for an amendment to the state constitution, and it passes by an overwhelming majority. And a guy can sit up there, or a woman can sit up there and say, no, that's not the way it should be. Well, it's not right. And I think that frustrates people to a lot. Going, wait a minute, that's supposed to be the voice of the people, and to just have an individual decide no, and it goes through the process from there. But it's kind of hard once you have precedent set. It becomes more and more difficult working your way up the chain to changing.
I will say it's kind of interesting, and I've seen this, where the Constitution has been amended, and then you have a judge who says that constitutional amendment is unconstitutional because it conflicts with another part of the Constitution. And it's kind of bizarre when something like that happens, because, first year law school, we, learn about, when a law is amended, it displaces anything prior
what was before.
that was in conflict. And so I find that kind of odd whenever you have rulings like that. How can the Constitution be unconstitutional? Maybe someone can explain it to me at some point. And I'm not saying that it can't happen. There obviously there can be parts of the Constitution that are in conflict with each other, but there's a methodology for figuring that out. And it is a head scratcher though when there's a constitutional amendment and they say, well, this conflicts with another part of the Constitution, and therefore the prior portion of the Constitution supersedes the more recent. But
we expect all y'all to be up to with the knowledge of Solomon.
Well, I will say, I do want to say this. I don't want to be too critical of our court for a couple of reasons.
One, because they're going to be colleagues pretty soon, so that may be part of it.
Hopefully 6 of them will be my colleagues pretty
go.
soon, but that is true. But they deal with some very, very difficult issues. The Supreme Court deals with some very, very weighty issues, and it's real easy to kind of sit on the sidelines and criticize all of them because of a decision that came down that we may disagree with. But they've got the benefit of having briefs, and sometimes voluminous briefs, that have been submitted by really good attorneys on both sides, arguing very well both sides of these arguments. I've sat special as a Supreme Court justice before, and the cases that I was involved in involved literally bankers' boxes full of briefs. Yeah. And I took my role very seriously. It's an honor to serve as a special justice on the Supreme Court. Not everyone gets that opportunity. And so I went through in my spare time, after hours, reading through these reams and reams of paper to try to figure out, what the right, how the law applied and everything. And it took a long time to do it, and it was very time consuming. And
there's a lot of study process to that.
It is.
That's what Sean said.
And so we don't really, it's easy to sit on the sidelines and criticize a particular decision, but unless you've actually read the briefs and you understand the nuances of the arguments and everything, you really need that. So I'm not going to criticize. I may agree or disagree with some of the decisions that
and we should.
might disagree
we
with
agree
right
with
now.
everything, and I think that we can't be afraid to disagree from time to time.
Well, the
It's
justices
something
have
that
a
we are
really
now.
difficult job, and I think they do a pretty good job of managing that. It's just, what I'm trying to do is let people know that this is a seat that's open, and they have a choice. They know who my opponent is because she's run for statewide office on at least 2 occasions. There's a third time through. I've run for statewide office. This is my 2nd time through. People know us pretty well, and I'm trying to just kind of outline what I represent as far as my judicial philosophy. And if they like that, I'm asking you for your vote. And so that's what I'm trying to do, is just present a choice to people between 2 very well-known statewide candidates.
And it's a pretty clear choice.
I hope so. It is for me.
I think, well, it is. It is. I think that, for the candidates that are on, it's a pretty clear choice. And if you're looking for a good conservative judge to sit on the Supreme Court, David Sterling is the guy you want to be voting for. And please get out and vote. I just can't.
I think the
stress
numbers
that
are
enough.
kind of low right now.
They are a little bit low, and the importance of turning out for these primaries just cannot be overstated. Go out, do your civic duty. We can't sit around and complain about stuff that doesn't get done because we didn't vote. That's not a good thing. Wait, we got a minute?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your thought on the appointment of Supreme Court judges? I know that there's been some talk of wanting him to go through whether it's going to be a government.
You mean on the state level?
Yeah. Yeah. Should they stay as elected positions? Should they go to the legislature? Should the governor appoint them? I know that there's some discussion on that.
There's been a lot of discussion on that at times in our history. I mean, there about 10 years ago, there was a group that studied that and made some recommendations. And again, they did that a few years back as well.
Just a couple years ago.
Yeah. And I've looked at both of, several different permutations of this options as far as how we elect our judges or appoint the judges. And ultimately, I came to the conclusion that there's pros and cons no matter which method you go with. And at this point, I think the pros outweigh the cons as far as the present system with electing our judges. They've kind of got a balance here in Arkansas since they passed Amendment 80 back in 2000 election and implemented it in 2001 and made these nonpartisan elections. They also made the Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court 8-year terms. And so you have a little bit of a buffer there between elections. For instance, if you're running for election every 2 years or every 4 years, sometimes
you're running.
You're just running, and all your decisions become political decisions more than anything else, just because you're going to get hammered on a particular issue or case that you might come down on. And you want a little bit of buffer there. So I think having 8-year terms kind of is a nice medium, kind of a in-between position there between appointed and elected.
But in my opinion, I'll just express my opinion, being nonpartisan is a political handicap because I can't on camera ask you, how do you feel about this issue? And it could be a partisan issue that you can't answer. So therefore, I feel that I'm not getting to know you or the opponent as a judge, and I really see that as a political handicap in some fashions.
It certainly can be. I mean, that was one of the other things that came out of Amendment 80 was making these positions nonpartisan. So I understand your frustration. I know that a lot of people are frustrated. I mean,
I want to know where judges stand.
I've had people just, get kind of rude with me. I was standing outside Verizon Arena passing out my handouts and everything a couple of months ago, and this guy comes up to me and says, "How do you feel about abortion?" And I paused for a moment trying to figure out, how do I answer this in a nonpartisan way? And when I didn't answer it immediately, he says, "That's all I need to know. I know exactly where you stand now. Your hesitation told me everything I need to know." I said, No. And he's like, "I don't," he just backed away. He didn't even want to hear from me because I didn't answer it just immediately.
Because you can't.
You have to be careful.
If
you're running for governor or lieutenant governor, you're wide open.
Yeah.
I stand this way, but as a judge, freedom of speech here. We handicap our judges from freedom of speech on their freedoms. I don't know.
Well, it's a matter of, again, you want to have a judge that's that hasn't prejudged or
Right. See, I'm better with that. I don't want people their minds already made up because we've already got that.
Right.
We want some of those that are overseeing and trying to help us move forward, not hit their minds. We want an open mind, listen to both sides of the argument, go back to the knowledge of Solomon. What do you got to say? What do you got to say? Okay, this is what we're going to do.
Down about 45 seconds. David, final thoughts. Thanks for coming up to Mountain Home today.
Well, I appreciate it. It's been a very humbling experience getting back out on the campaign trail after 4 years off the campaign trail and getting back out here and meet everybody. But there's some really good folks all around the state. I've really enjoyed reconnecting with everybody. This has been a very humbling experience this time as well. You know, trying to balance all the different things with work and family and people out on the campaign trail and meeting all these good folks and everything. But I really enjoyed it, and hope to meet as many people as what I can between now and Election Day. And
which
just
is
gonna
next Tuesday.
Yeah, next Tuesday. Please get out to vote. Need you at the polls.
With that, we got to go. Vote for David Sterney, Supreme Court. Got to run. See you tomorrow.